The 8th of September, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay. Also Shmuel. Okay. Okay. Whoever it was is more than one opinion. Says that Rochel is not Kona. So this is being brought as a proof that only these two kinyonim will be Kona, Meshicha, and Manhig, but not Rochel. So that will be a support to the those that say that Rochel is not Kona. Okay. Now, so that's the proof, and now we go further. We have a Rashi actually. We have a Rashi. You could start, Phil, with the Rashi. There's whichever you want to start from. I don't know. There's the last few lines, the last few words of Rashi on Amud 8b. Hamor darko b'hanhaga v'gamal darko b'mishicha.
Amor darko, the donkey with its way by leading it, and the camel by doing the meshicha, the pulling on it. Okay. And then
Right.
it says, in this way, l'kameya l'ferech l'ma'ut emai. It will explain to exclude what, and the exclude what that's going to say later is going to be the writing, because we're talking about leading the manhig, the leading, and the meshicha, the pulling, but not the rochev, not the writing. So that's going to be excluded later on. It's going to explain that. Now, I'm not sure this ihachi is at this point yet. I think this ihachi is later.
It's later. Right.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to go on in the Gemara with the words hu hadin. And now that is on the top of 9a, Tesamid Aleph. It's the end of the fourth line in the Gemara. So, Lou, you want to read Hu Adin? It's the end of the fourth line on 9a.
Hu Adin de Pilu Rachov. It is possible that the same law applies even to a rider, i.e., that he acquires. Vaha de Ketane Moshech U Manhig. However, the reason the Tanakama teaches only that one who pulls and one who leads acquires, la puke mide Rabbi Yehuda, is to counter the position of Rabbi Yehuda. Da'amar ad shetehei meshicha begamal v'han chaga b'chamor, who maintains that one can acquire a camel only through pulling and a donkey only through leading. Kamashma run da'afilu ipcha nami kane. The Tanakama therefore teaches us that even if one performs a kinyan in the opposite manner from that mentioned, i.e., if he leads a camel or pulls a donkey, he acquires as well. Accordingly, a camel or donkey can be acquired in one of two ways, by pulling it or by leading it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you see what the Gemara did over here? Did some fancy footwork. The Gemara thought in the Havamina that it says B'mida Zos, which is a language of exclusion, in this way, as opposed to another way, in this way, a kinyan could be made. That's what the Tanna Kama said. With being manhig or being moshef. And the Gemara wanted to say, oh, so that comes to say that those two things are okay. You can do either one of them on either animal, but you cannot do rachuv. That you can't do. That won't be a kinyan. So that amounted to a support to those that say rachuv is not konen. And that the Gemara is saying no, that's not what Midas Zos is coming to exclude. It's coming to really it's interesting. It's coming to really include Mabida Zos in this way, as opposed to the exclusionary way that Reb Yehuda says, that you can only do one way with this animal and the other way with the other animal, and you can't do it the other way around. No, you could do both ways around. You could do with either this kinyan or that kinyan. Either animal is fine. And like that, that's what Midazos says, and it's not necessarily therefore coming to exclude Rachuv. Wasn't discussing Rachuv. Okay, that's what the Gemara wants to say. Okay, now we go to the next step. Ihachi. Gemara doesn't buy this. It's got another question on it. Ihachi, we go to Alan.
It's the bottom of page 981 on the left-hand side.
Yep.
It is so that according to the Tanna Kama, the kinyan performed in the opposite manner is valid. Let the Tanna Kama simply merge the two manners of kinyan and teach them as one. Shnayim she or you moshevin umana hijin ben gormal ben more. Two persons were pulling or leading an animal, be it a camel or a donkey. They acquire it. The Gemara explains why such a formulation would be misleading. According to the Tanna Kama, there is one combination that doesn't acquire an animal. The suggested formulation of the Brisa would reflect this, and this cannot be used. The Gemara cites two views concerning which combination does not acquire. Kor the omare more. Some say that it's pulling a donkey. Kor the omare and the kor gormal. And some say that it is leading a camel. Should I keep going?
No, not yet. We got some Rashi on this.
The Crimson Exchange presented its proof from the beginning with
Wait,
rice.
don't keep going. Don't keep going yet. Don't keep going. We got to do this e-hockey. We got to explain this part of the Gemara. Okay. We're up to the e-hockey. Okay, the e-hockey. We're up to the e-hockey.
At the bottom of page 981.
We have an e-hockey first. We got to do the Rashi, the top line e-hockey. You hear me?
No, it's coming muffled.
Rabbi Levitt, you're muted. We can't hear you.
You hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
You hear me? Well, I'm
Okay.
not 11. I'm doing this e-hockey on
Okay.
the top line.
Yeah.
This
Fine.
This e-hockey, the Tanakama, according to the Tanakama, ifcha, you have to switch around the kani of acquiring it. Amai, why, katani, mishika lagama. Why does it teach a pulling for a camel, the hanhaga barachamor, and leading it for a donkey? Liyarvenu to what's that? Liyarvenu.
Liarvinu. Oh, and Rashi doesn't include the word of the Gemora. He didn't have enough space on the line, I guess. I don't know.
The chuli moshrim v'chukonim. So it's saying, mix them up. He said, and it mixed them up. And
Mix them,
so
put them together.
put them together. That's to mix, to do it together is the ared. So then it says v'chulei, and it says moshrim v'hinigam. Do it. That you are pulling and leading.
Oh, you see what the Gemara is doing over here. It's hard to see because you know what it is. It's not that Rashi did that. My theory is that the printer didn't include the word that Rashi printed, and he's the one that put the word the vav chav vav over there in the slash because he didn't have enough room to put the word in order to make his line over there. It was going to mess up his line, so he didn't put the word in there. But Rashi certainly wrote that word. Larvinu ulisninu. Mix them together and teach them together. In other words, how should it be taught together? Like the Gemara says, Shnaim shahayu moshchinu manhigin. Two people that were either doing Mashicha or they were doing Manhiga, Bein b'Gamal, Bein b'Chamor. Whether they were doing it on a Chamor, whether they were doing it on a Gamal, that like that, you would see that very clearly Tanakama holds that you could do either one, either Kinyan on either animal. But the way that the Tanakama did write it, Rashi points out that the Tanakama said Mashicha b'Gamal and Hanhaga b'Chamor. So it sounded like that was it had to be like that and not the other way around. Okay. Wow. Amai katani mashicha b'gamal v'hanhaga b'chamor. Is that the way we did it? Oh, it said, yeah, Shnaim shahayu moshchin b'gamal. Two people that they were doing mashicha on a gamal, or alternatively, they were doing manhigin on a Hamor. So the Tanna Kama himself seems to specifically designate the kinyan of Meshicha for a Gamal and the Manhigin for a Hamor. So it sounds like he holds that you got to make it specifically like that. So the Gemora says the answer that we're giving, it doesn't seem to be borne out in the language of the Gemora that the Tanna Kama himself says. Okay. Okay, so now, very good. Now let's go to the next step. The Gemora is going to respond to that challenge of Ihochi. And so the next step is Ika Chadsad Delo Koni.
Okay, wait a second. There is a, isn't that part? We didn't say the Ichachad Sad Kani? Oh no.
That's the. We didn't read that in the Gemara yet.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh.
He did read
okay.
that. There is to this side that it's not Kani.
Ikachad Sad Delo Koni.
There is side. Lahachi Lo, let's say, in this, Lo, let's say, the Mishnah, we didn't find in our Mishnah, both of them, the Mishnah didn't talk about pulling and leading. The Tana here, Moshchim the Gamal, he was pulling the camel, the Manhigan the Chamor, and he was leading the donkey, or Shahaya Achad Moshech, Echad Manhig, or one was pulling and one was leading. The Achad with one of them, Oto Shadarko Bishneim. That's its way for both of them.
And that animal that we don't know which one it is, but it is one of these two animals that either one of those kinyanim will work with that animal. That's what the Gemara means here when it says ikachad tzad delo koni. There's the Tanna Kama holds, in fact, that there is one way that the kinyan will not work. There's one way the kinyan won't work. In other words, the Tanna Kama said that Meshicha definitely works by a Gamal, and Hanhaga definitely works by a Chamor. And now the Gemara is saying, and he furthermore holds the Tanna Kama that Oshaya Echad Moshech ve'Echad Manhi. The next thing that the Tanna Kama says, that applies be'echad mehen, that applies to one of them, also shadarko b'shnehem. One of them, meaning one of those animals that its derech of kinyan is with the two of them, meaning either one of them. And we're not sure exactly which one, which animal both those kinyanim will work. And so that's why we couldn't have said it the way that the Gemara wanted to suggest to say it in the Ihaki. We couldn't have said Shnaim Shahayu Moshchinu Manhigim, two people that were either Moshe or Manhig the animal, Bein B'Gamal, Bein B'Chamor, because that would imply that both of those kinyonim would work with either animal. And now we're saying no, the Tanna Kama doesn't hold that both kinyonim will work with either animal. He holds that with one of the animals, both kinyonim work, but we don't know which animal it is that both of the kinyonim will work with. Okay. Now we're back to the Gemora. Ika de Amre.
Ika de Amre, Mashicha the Chamor. There are some that say that it is pulling a donkey. Ve'ika de Amre, Hanchaga b'Gamal. And some say that it is leading a camel.
Okay, so this is not so clear from the language of the Gemara, but what the Gemara has got to mean over here is that we got two, in other words, we got two views about which one of the kinyonim won't work, with which animal. So one Ikeda Amre means that some say that this is the kinyan that will not work. Because that's what the Gemara just said. Ikachad sad the lo koni. There's one way of kinyan with one animal that is not going to work. And now the Gemara says Ikeda Amre. Some say that it was the kinyan of Meshicha with a chamor. That's the kinyan that's not going to work according to Tanna Kama. And then some say Ikeda Amre. Hanhaga b'Gamal, that manhig with a gamal, that's the kinyan that the Tanna Kama holds will not work. Okay. All right. No Rashi on that. And now we go back to the Gemara. East and Mosif Miseifa. Alan, you want to read East and Mosif Miseifa?
What page is that? Sorry.
Where is it in your Gemaras?
It's on page 9A1, right-hand column, the fourth paragraph down, in the previous exchange.
In the previous exchange, the Gemara presented its proof in the beginning of the Brisa. The Gemara now cites a different version of the proof. Ace the Mosiv, we say 4. And some responded that the question is resolved from the first clause of the Tanna Kama statement.
Final clause. Doesn't say first, it says final.
Dorzu Konor. The Brisa states that the kinyan is performed in this manner, they acquire the animal. Dorzu May. Now, what type of kinyan does the expression in this manner come to exclude? Does it not come to exclude the kinyan of a writer, for example, to teach that he does not require? This corroborates Rav Yehuda's position that even writing alone does not constitute a valid kinyan. The Gemara rebuts the proof. No, he used the expression to exclude a kinyan performed in the opposite manner from that mentioned in the Brisa's initial clause. Such a kinyan is invalid. Writing alone, though, may indeed constitute a valid kinyan. On the page, the Gemara questions a rebuttal. Ihocha Ayanu Rav Yehuda. If it is so that the kinyan must be performed in the prescribed manner, Tanakama's view is then identical to that of Rabbi Yehuda. Top of page 92. Gemora responds that even according to the rebuttal, the two views in fact differ. They're working upstairs. Ikor being the Yahu, Zad, the low Konor. There is in fact a difference between them with regard to the one combination that does not acquire the animal according to Rabbi Yehuda, but does acquire according to Tanakama. Gemora cites two views concerning which combination the Tanakama invalidates. Ish the Omerei Mashichor more. Some say that is pulling a donkey. Ikor the Omerei Hanachonor Gimo. And some say it is leading a camel.
Okay. Okay, so now the Gemara brings a different way of proving that from this same brisa that we're talking about now, a different way of proving that that Rochov is not a Kenyan. And so the Gemara says, Easter Mosif mi Seifa. We could prove it from the Seifa. And basically the Seifa is where it said the words B'mida Zo. B'mida Zo Kone. Mutemai, what's it coming to exclude in this way? There's a Kenyan. Lav Mute Rachov. Is it not coming to exclude the case of Rachov? These ways it could acquire, but not in the way of Rachov. Rachov is not a Kenyan. Oh, so now the Gemara said, "Lo, Mute Ifcha." It's coming to exclude if you switch around the animals with the Kenyan, it won't work like that. On that, the Gemara said, "Yehachi Haina Rabbi Yehuda." If so, then you're saying the Tanakama holds exactly the same thing that Rabbi Yehuda says. Rabbi Yehuda was the one who said you can only make a Kenyan with a Gamal through Meshicha, and you can only make a Kenyan with a Hamor through Hanhaga. And those are the only ways you could make a Kenyan with those animals. Not that the Gemara says, no. There is a nafkamina between them, Ikabenayu, Etzad Echad de lo Kone. So it's the same thing that the Gemara came out with in the previous proof. The machlekes is that the Tanakama holds that he agrees with the Kenyanim that Rabbi Yehuda says work, but then he says there's one other Kenyan that works that he doesn't hold from, and there's another Kenyan that he agrees with Rabbi Yehuda that doesn't work. B'tzad echad d'lo kone. In one way, it doesn't work if you switch around the Kenyanim. And East Amre, the same thing that we said before. Some say that what doesn't work is the Mashiach with the Chamor, and some say it's the Hanhaga with the Gamal. That's what doesn't work. Okay. So now we got a Rashi, B'mida Zos. B'mida Hazos. Why did Rashi, all right. Why did the Gemara say B'mida Zu? The Brisa said B'mida Zos. Okay. Anyway, whose turn it is to read Rashi?
You want me to read it? Who to read it or what?
Lou, is it your turn?
It's his turn if you want to read it.
The Gemara.
We're in the Rashi on the third narrow line. The Zos.
I'll read. I don't think it's my turn though.
Oh, okay. So then it's Phil's turn.
I've just read all the Rashis. I'll read this Rashi too. It's only a line. Zos in this way. That the thought, the Mashiach or Bahanhaga with pulling or leading, Bain Gamel, Bain Hachamor, whether either way, whether it's it doesn't matter which one you're leading and which one you're pulling. It works for both the for the camel and it works for the donkey.
Oh, Rashi's telling us that according to the Tanakhama, either one of these two kinyonim, Mashiach or Hanhaga, they would work equally well with either one of these two animals. But what? But there's an exclusion. There's an implication that is coming to exclude that there's another kinyan that it won't work with either one of the animals, and that's Rachuv. So that'll be the exclusion of Rachuv riding being a kinyan, and that will be a support from this brisa to the Shmuel and Rabbi Yehuda. I think both of them hold that Rachuv is not a kinyan. Rashi's pointing that out. At this point in the Gemora, that's what we thought. That either one of these two kinyonim would work with either one of these two animals, and then the Gemora is going to say in a minute, no, that's not what it's coming to do. It's coming to exclude something else. Okay. All right, Toshma. We got 2 minutes to read Toshma. Alan, you want to read Toshma?
Right, okay. The Gemara cites another brisa to resolve the question of whether a rider acquires. Toshma, come learn the resolution from the following brisa. Echord, chamor. If two litigants appear in court, one riding a donkey, Echord, tofus, mo seiror, and one holding on to the bridle. Zach or Noah, chamor, then this one acquires the donkey. Zach or Noah, Moseiror, and the other one acquires the bridle. Shema mi Noah, since the brisa clearly states that the rider acquires the donkey. Learn from this that a rider acquires. Refutes the proof. Nami, but min
Rashi's before that. If you want to only have a minute anyway. The two Rashi's before that.
Okay.
We have the one that's Chad is Tofus, the Masera. One is holding the bridle, the Enu Manhig, but he's not leading it. He's just holding it. Shma Nima, learn from that the Rochev does acquire it. The rider does acquire it. Shalom Makom Manhig, he's not in the place of a leader. The Kavan, since Shalom Makom Manhig, since he's not in the place of the leader, Kane Kulal, he acquires all of it. The Makom Hamanhi, but in the place of a leader, Palgi, they divide it.
Yeah, in other words, when you have another guy who's doing manhig, so then they'll divide it between them. But like this, if there's nobody else, so the rochev he'll be kind of the whole animal. Sounds like, according to this. Okay, Yeshu Koyak, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Have a great day, great week. Bracha v'atzlacha. Suras Toivos, Yeshuos, v'nachamos.
Amen.